Following the 2020 census, something unusual happened to America's most populous state. California lost a seat in the House of Representatives for the first time in its history. Along with other blue states, its population growth has been slowing, relative to red states like Texas and Florida, which picked up seats. And if current trends hold, following the 2030 census, blue states could lose more than 10. It could make it harder for Democrats to gain a majority in the House, but more critically, because Electoral College votes for presidential elections are based on the number of congressional seats, it could make it harder for Democrats to win the presidency. The fact that blue states aren't growing as fast as red states could shift the balance of power at the federal level for decades. Why is this happening in the first place? Let's take California as an example. For the past few decades, California hasn't built enough housing to keep up with its population growth. And because way more people want to live in California than the housing available, prices go up. More than a third of its residents are considering moving to a different state because of it. This wasn't always the case. California built housing rapidly post-World War II when it had abundant empty land surrounding its major metro areas. But because it built out in a sprawling fashion, all of this land was soon filled up. The only way to accommodate further population growth was to build denser housing, which many of its cities were reluctant to do because of opposition by suburban homeowners. Now California is dealing with the consequences, and states like Texas and Florida are now the ones with the abundant land to sprawl and build new housing. Democrats at the state and local level have often wavered on addressing housing to avoid angering suburban homeowners. But those very leaders should now contend with what their future would look like with a significantly weakened say in national politics. But building more housing isn't just a means to preserve political power. It's also a matter of building better communities. Blue states hold some of the country's most diverse, innovative, and globally important cities. And yet, largely due to high housing costs, they've struggled with homelessness crises and declining quality of life. How do you build vibrant neighborhoods when a third of your residents are on the verge of getting priced out? Democrats will be doing a lot of self-reflection in the coming months to figure out what went wrong in the 2024 election and how to move forward as a party. But as they do this, one of their priorities of many should be confronting the housing crises in their own states. Not just to prevent a federal power imbalance, but because it's the right thing to do for their own constituents. Following Trump's 2024 win, leaders in California's state government signaled they were preparing to defend California's liberal values against the incoming administration. But that fight rings hollow when these very liberal values are only accessible to those wealthy enough to not get priced out.